Have you ever wondered what actually happens when you fit a stage 2 air filter, a full decat exhaust system and an ECU remap to a Royal Enfield 650 twin? Well, you're about to find out. Today is going to be a good day. I'm over here at BHP UK with the Interceptor because today this is getting an ECU remap. I can't wait. I've waited a long time for today. It's finally come around. Let's do this. Right, before we get the Interceptor on the dyno, let me quickly introduce you to BHP UK. These guys specialise in ECU remapping and engine tuning, and honestly, this is what they live and breathe. Everything is custom written in-house and then properly dyno tested right here at their facility in Burnley. And they tune pretty much everything, from Hondas to Harleys and everything in between. Oh yes please. With decades of experience in the tuning industry, these guys know exactly how to unlock the true potential from an engine. I think my little Interceptor is definitely in safe hands. So before we get the bike on the dyno, I'm just here with the owner of BHP UK, who is Cal. He's going to be working on my bike today. Just got a few questions for him. Going to keep it really quick because I know you guys want to see the bike on the dyno and I can't wait to get it on there too. Nice to meet you, Cal.
Yeah.
So the first question, as you know, my bike has got a full stainless decat exhaust system on it. If someone was to want a remap doing on their bike, they have no modifications, is that still possible?
Yeah, so even a standard bike, it'll still be running very lean before you've done any modifications to it. In actual fact, it'll be mostly running closed loop and it'll be trying to attain lambda 1, which is 14.68 parts of air to 1 part of fuel. That way you get a complete combustion and there's very little as far as emissions are concerned, or toxic emissions, or as little as possible toxic emissions are emitted into the atmosphere. And that's what obviously the government's trying to do. So even if you've got a stock bike, just by reaching it up will make it feel and ride a lot better.
I think you've kind of answered my next question. Why do these bikes come so lean from the factory in the first place?
So it's all down to the emission standards. We had Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5, and each one gets more and more stringent and more strict. And we've got rid of things like pre-acceleration enrichment. That really made a big difference to the way that any motor vehicle would respond to throttle inputs. Pretty much now on the Euro 5 stuff, there is no pre-acceleration enrichment. You're just running at a flat line of lambda 1. And it is just emission standards. Damn you, emissions. Right, final question. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you long. If you don't live local, someone's watching this video now, they're not local to you, but they want to get the bike remapped. Is that a possibility? It certainly is, depending on the bike. Some bikes we can do through an ECU flasher, and some bikes you've got to post the ECU to us. Yours, unfortunately, you've got to post the ECU to us.
That's it. Thank you, Cal. Cheers. Right, that's enough of me pretending to be an interviewer. I'm no Piers Morgan. So, as you've just heard from Cal, these bikes run pretty lean from the factory, and in theory, fitting a full decat exhaust system probably isn't helping the situation either. Anyway, it was time to finally get the Interceptor on the dyno for its first run. The main goal of today isn't necessarily chasing massive horsepower numbers, it's getting the fueling right and making the bike ride the way it probably should have done from the factory. However, if I manage to pick up a couple of extra ponies along the way, I'll happily take them. Now, as I've already mentioned, my bike isn't standard. It's fitted with the Enfield Precision 2x2 decat exhaust system. Apparently, a standard Interceptor 650 normally puts out around 41 brake horsepower at the rear wheel. So, let's see what mine can do. How are we looking then? Is it lean?
44, yeah, it's lean.
Yeah.
But 44.68.
That's not bad, is it?
It's good, that. It's really good. It's really good.
Take that. I don't know if you caught that then, but on the very first run, the bike made over 44 brake horsepower at the rear wheel. And honestly, that's pretty impressive considering at this point, the bike only had the exhaust system fitted. Hitchcock's Motorcycles were kind enough to send me out a DNA Stage 2 air filter kit for this video, which should help the engine breathe a little bit easier by increasing airflow into the motor. And in theory, better airflow should improve throttle response and potentially unlock a little bit more performance as well. I brought some tools from home, but Cal was an absolute legend and fitted the kit for me before throwing the bike straight back on the dyno to see if it actually made any difference.
So with that filter on at the top end, we've got no real power gains, which is what you'd expect. It's within 1/10 of a horsepower of the old, of the stock filter, but lower down, it makes a little difference. Just under 1 horsepower there. So, but it'll breathe better once we've got the map on it. You know, so it is a worthwhile upgrade in my opinion.
That's when it comes to life, when it's been remapped. Quick question, Cal. On the internet with these bikes, there's rumours saying, you know, if you fit an exhaust to it, start the bike up, give it 10 minutes, the ECU will self-learn and then adjust parameters to...
Right. There's no such thing as a self-learning ECU.
Right.
Okay. I know I'm going to get slated on the internet now. There's going to be, in the comment section below, there's going to be 5 million bedroom warriors. Right. And they're telling me, no, it happens, it does.
I can imagine, feel free to comment.
Drop the comments in below. I'd love an argument. No, what actually happens is it adapts for the parameters. It doesn't learn anything.
Right.
Okay? Everything that the ECU learns is learned at the factory. It's programmed in. It's in the micro. Right. Okay. What it does have is tables for the lambda. So if you, for example, are at sea level, it will make small adjustments in the lambda readings. It's called a closed loop system. So it injects fuel in at the top. It monitors what the lambda readings are in the exhaust, and if the lambda readings are rich, it'll say take a bit of fuel out, and the ECU will take a bit of fuel out, and it'll hit the target again. If they're lean, it'll say put a little bit of fuel in, and it'll put a little bit of fuel in, it'll monitor it, and it'll say right, you're okay, that's fine. Or you're going lean, put a bit more in, or you're going rich, take a bit out, and that's a closed loop system.
Right.
So it doesn't actually learn anything, it just adapts to the parameters.
With that cleared up, Cal removed the ECU. This is where things started getting a bit technical. Right, so Cal's got the ECU off the bike now. He's working his magic. I'll let him explain what he's doing to it.
So we've got...
Do you want to hold that?
So we've got it rigged up through the CAN lines. We're just going to plug it into one of our ECU readers, take a reading off it, and then we'll just make the modifications. All modifications are in the hex code. We'll just use a compiler to put the mods in. We already know really roughly what we're going to do to it anyway. We'll get that in and then we'll get it running up again.
Hope you can hear me. The remap's done, the air filter's fitted. Let's see what power we're getting out of it now. So the bike's made another horsepower, but the fueling's right. That's the most important thing. We've still got the restrictive baffles in the silencer, so we're going to whip them out now and we'll give it another run. With the baffles removed, there was no more restrictions in the exhaust system, but would it actually make a difference? Let's find out. I'll tell you what, this Enfield Precision shorty system with the baffles removed is seriously loud. You can actually see the camera shaking on the tripod when we get up the revs, and you can honestly feel your internal organs vibrate. It's mental. Now I'm not going to lie, we didn't make much more horsepower with the baffles removed, so they'll be going straight back in. I'll let Cal explain what we've achieved from today, and then I'll take the bike out for a little ride.
What did we actually manage to achieve? Well, at the top end, we went up from 44 to 45. So not the biggest of gains, about 1.5 brake horsepower. The blue one is, as the bike came to us, a standard map with the baffles in. The green one is the modified map with the baffles in, and the red one is with the baffles out.
Yeah.
The real information, though, is in the plot at the bottom, which is your air-fuel ratio.
That was the most important thing for me today. I wasn't chasing numbers, just wanted that feeling right.
The dotted red line is just on the graph. That's just a datum line that we use. That's set at 13.2, so you can just visually see how close to 13.2 you are.
Yeah.
And pretty much on the red line, on the red graph with the baffles out, we're pretty much on that datum line throughout. It does reach up a little bit more. We've got it's a bit of an air-cooled engine anyway, so we want it to run a little bit richer, just to aid cooling at the top end.
Yeah. And like you were saying before, like we've only gained, 2 brake today, but my bike wasn't standard.
No.
It came to you with a full stainless decat exhaust on it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think the standard bikes, what do they make roughly with the standard
Generally
exhaust
speaking,
on?
they make somewhere between 41 and 42. Actually got a plot here
Yeah.
that we can look at. Obviously, the blue plot is a bike that came to us with, it's actually our development bike that we use. That came fully stock.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of development runs on it, a lot of data gathering on that bike. And on that particular day, it made 41.02
Yeah.
at the back wheel. And yours now, with the modifications, is making 45.86.
There's a nice increase, really, with a
Yeah.
bike that's only got such low power.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in percentages, we're probably looking 8%, do you think?
8%-ish. I mean, if you got another bike, it may make 42. You know, there can be some differences in the engine. If you put different tyres on, you'll have more frictional losses, and all of that can make a difference. Wherever you are in throttle opening, wherever you are in the RPM range, you're pretty much at 13.2 air-fuel ratio, which on a bike like yours is what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you that throttle response. You should feel now wherever you are, if you're at 4,000 RPM and you've got the throttle open 20 degrees and then you go up to 60 degrees, you should feel a really nice, smooth transition to it.
Yeah, nice linear power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be linear.
Yeah.
And it should have no latency.
Yeah.
As soon as you open that throttle, we're expecting the engine to react to it straight away, as opposed to, I think on a stock bike, it's a lot more latent.
Now the fueling is right. With an air-cooled motorcycle, they can run really warm.
Yeah.
With the fueling right now,
Yeah.
does that bring the temperature down?
That actually brings your exhaust gas temperature down.
Right.
So it will bring the overall temperature down. Your heat obviously is generated with the combustion in your engine. The leaner you go on a petrol engine, the hotter the flame is, and the hotter the exhaust gas temperatures are. On most cars, we have an exhaust gas temperature gauge, an exhaust gas temperature sensor, a thermocouple in the exhaust that tells us exactly how hot it's running. Unfortunately, the bikes don't give us that. Now, you've got a 2-in-2 on your bike, haven't you?
2-to-2, yeah.
We've always found that the 2-in-1s actually work a little bit better. Again, I've got an indicative plot here. The red one is your bike,
Yeah.
and the blue one was our development bike when we had a 2-in-1 into it.
Yeah.
And you can see yours at 6,000 does start to drop
Yeah,
off.
it drops off.
Well, it just starts to flatten off.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually dropping off. Whereas the 2-in-1 just carried on making power all the way
Yeah.
up.
And it's not really sacrificed anything in the lower revs, has
No,
it?
it hasn't. No, again, it's made some power in the
Just consistent
revs
all the way.
Yeah, it's just
It's funny you should say that, because I've actually got a Royal Enfield Bear 650 on road at the moment. That has a 2-to-1 exhaust from standard.
right.
And the stock Bear with my Interceptor before the remap, so it had the exhaust on it.
Yeah.
The difference between them two bikes, the Bear, it literally just pulled straight away.
Right.
It's got to be that exhaust setup, because it's the same engine.
Sure.
Yeah, I know they do have a little bit more torque, but it is noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up. Let's put it on the dyno. See what it's doing.
Yeah. I'll have to check with Royal Enfield on that.
They'll let you run it stock with the won't do any modifications to
Yeah.
it. But we're going to tell anybody about it.
The bike's all mapped. We've got the air filter in there now. I'm going to take it on its first ride. Now, although I've only made like 2 brake today, I keep saying this, I was never chasing numbers. We've now got the fueling really dialed in. So we're going to see what kind of a difference it's made, see how the bike feels now. Let's hit the road. So Cal has put the baffles back in the exhaust. So this is just first gear now. Let's give it a little rev with no clutch. That's really smooth. Normally the throttle was very on off in first gear. You've had to work the clutch quite a lot. But now I'm in second gear. Yeah, it's a lot smoother, that. Big difference. Roll a bit of power on. Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Woo! We're expecting that, to be fair. Nice. Yes, I've just pulled up in a bicycle section of the road. I can hear the induction noise as well from that DNA filter. Oh yeah. Nice. Roads are shocking here. Disgusting. Pothole central. What? Yes, there's definitely an improvement there. Oh, I'm grinning. Whoa, there's some serious potholes. What a difference. The throttle is a lot smoother now. So the roads aren't the best, so I'm not going to be absolutely levering it today. But I can tell already that throttle response is a lot crisper. It's just there straight away now. Whereas before it was a little bit hesitant. As soon as you roll the throttle on now, we're shifting. To brake, like you see, it doesn't sound like a lot, but we've got the fueling right. That's the big difference here. I know now, I've got peace of mind that this bike isn't running lean anymore. When the roads have dried up a bit, we'll get a comparison. Let's roll it on. Oh yes, I'm over the moon with this, honestly. If you're thinking about getting your 650 Enfield remapped, just do it. And even like Cal said before, if you've got a standard bike, you can still get this done. They do respond to this modification, this ECU remap, extremely well.
Okay, so would I recommend getting your 650 Twin remapped by BHP UK? Honestly, 100% yeah. The difference between the standard map and how the bike feels now is unreal. It's a proper game changer. The throttle response feels cleaner, more predictable, and the bike just feels happier overall. After riding it today, I can't say a bad thing about it. Now, I know there are products out there like the Fuel X Lite, but personally, I'd much rather have a proper bespoke remap written directly to the ECU itself, rather than relying on an external unit constantly working properly and having additional wiring running around the bike. With a proper ECU remap, the tune has been written specifically for your motorcycle. And another really good thing is, you don't even need to physically bring your bike down here. You can literally remove your ECU, post it to BHP UK, they'll custom remap it in-house and send it straight back to you. For the improvement in how the bike rides and the peace of mind knowing the fueling is properly set up, I think it's great value for money. You can tell within 5 minutes of speaking to Cal that he knows exactly what he's talking about, and BHP UK have built up a brilliant reputation over the years for a reason. I'll leave all their details below in the video description. If you've got any questions, I'll do my very best to answer them. Nice one for watching, take care.